Man, I'm kind of sad that there were so many clouds today. I'm not really getting any sunshine, because this is one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. I'm in a place called Boden in Austria, and I already know that I want to come back here, even though I've only been here for like 10 minutes at this point, because, well, the sun isn't too great today. A lot of shade. Yes, the sun is coming out. Actually, I'm gonna have to take this picture, 1 second. Wonderful. Well, how about I do an intro? That sounds like a plan. So, in today's video, we're going to be shooting this camera. Why? Because recently on social media, I've been noticing that a lot of the creators whose content I like watching, who I follow on Instagram and on YouTube, are making content about these voice level viewfinder cameras. So I'm talking about old SLR cameras like this one, but I'm also seeing these advertisements for attachments you can attach to your digital camera to turn them into voice level finder cameras. And I was just wondering, why do I keep seeing these posts? Why do so many of the creators whose content I enjoy and whose pictures I like enjoy using these cameras? So I went on eBay and I looked for a camera to pick up myself, and I bought this. This is the Exa 1, and I have a Ludwig Merita 50mm f2.9 lens on here. And it is a voice level viewfinder SLR camera, 35mm film, and I'm going to take some pictures on it to find out what's so special about these voice level viewfinder cameras. So right after I got done shooting the first video clip on this video, I instantly understood why I keep seeing cameras like this on my social media feed. Cameras and viewfinders like this one make it very easy for the creator to show their viewers what they're seeing. And this is really what makes a camera like this the ideal camera for me, because you guys know that I don't do camera reviews. I don't tell you which cameras to buy. I don't go in depth on all of the features. I don't review new gear, and all of the cameras I buy are things that I buy just for fun, not because they're necessarily the best cameras you could get. I also don't really make like tutorials. I might give some tips on how to measure light, which gear to use to get the most out of your film photography, but I don't make photography tutorials. The goal of my videos is not to educate anybody, it's just for you guys to have fun. I want you guys to feel like you're out here with me. I want you to know how it feels to use old gear like this. I want you to know how it feels to experience things like this. And for that reason, I always keep on trying to show you guys what I see through the viewfinder. In so many of my videos, I try to film a shot through the viewfinder. I don't want to just tell you, hey, this camera has a rangefinder patch and that's how you focus the camera and you need the split image to line up and things like that. I want you to see what I'm seeing when I'm focusing a shot through a rangefinder camera. But oftentimes that's hard to do. Those old optical viewfinders, they might be very small, not too bright, they might be dirty. Sometimes I try to get in there like with a macro lens and really try to get as close as possible to give you guys a picture of what I'm seeing, but oftentimes it's just very hard. You need the camera to line up perfectly, the opening is too small. It's difficult to do. A camera like this makes it a lot easier, because this viewfinder is very big. It's a big opening that's very easy to film into, and that makes it very easy for me to show you guys what I'm actually seeing as I'm taking the pictures I'm taking. So really, this camera is making it a lot easier for me to make the videos I want to make. I want you guys to know what I'm feeling right now and what I'm seeing right now as I'm out here in this amazing location shooting this camera. And this camera really enables me to do that, which is just so amazing. So this video has been in the making for about 2 weeks now. Just every time I am out on an evening walk or whatever, I take this camera to start taking some pictures and to kind of experiment with this camera in different situations, lighting situations and stuff like that, just to find out how it feels to use. And well, let's jump to the first day where I load the first roll of film into this camera. I can tell you one thing though, loading this camera is so annoying. To disassemble the entire camera, just to show you. This is how it looks. Alright. Is this secure? There's no way this is secure. Oh my god, it's falling apart. That's what's happening. Why can you remove the entire spool? This sucks. Alright, I guess it's in there. Let's reassemble the camera. Sadly, life is not all sunshine and rainbows, and there are some serious downsides to using a camera like this, which I think we should talk about. Number one, the image in this viewfinder is mirrored. If I move my camera in this direction, the image in the viewfinder moves in the exact opposite direction. This does make composing images more confusing, and I'm just going to show you with my phone right here. So if you look at the viewfinder right now, I'm seeing my camera to the right of the image. So if I think I want to include the camera in the middle of my shot, the instinct would be to pan my camera in this direction. But this would actually be wrong, as you can see. I have to pan it in the exact opposite direction of where the camera actually shows up in my viewfinder, which is kind of confusing. So on the first day where I shot this camera, this confused me to the point where I had to straight up retake some videos. Because I took these POV videos of me walking up to the scene, getting the camera out and starting to compose an image. And it took me so long to figure out which direction to pan in that I got so confused, and it took such a long time that I just straight up decided to go back and reshoot the entire shot, because it just looked so bad for me that I was completely unable to take a picture. And the next issue, you might have already seen it, is reflections in this viewfinder. Because basically what we have here is a big opening pointed right towards the sky, which is very bright, which has a lot of reflective surfaces inside of it. That's a recipe for disaster. This effectively means a lot of reflections. In some of these videos, you might straight up see just my face reflected in the viewfinder. I can see myself right now. And it's just confusing. It makes it harder to actually see what I'm photographing. Of course, you don't have an issue like that with normal optical viewfinders, where you're pressing the camera up against your face, kind of making sure that you are sealing and shielding any sort of light from getting inside of the viewfinder, because your face is mushed right up against it, so there's no light getting in there. This way, there's a big opening where all of this light from the sky can just get in there, and I'm seeing all of these reflections. Oh, look at this. Well, vertical shots are going to be difficult to do with this one. This kind of needs to be vertical though. Well, I guess it won't be. Let's focus this to be sharp. Wow. Well, that's a great point I'm bringing up there, because one of the biggest issues I'm having with using this camera is vertical pictures, which sucks because I personally like shooting vertical pictures. So I have the shot right here. I want to get this bridge, this river below the bridge, and then the mountain above the bridge in the same frame. Of course, I can't just turn the camera around like this. And I actually had to look in the menu for this camera how to even take vertical pictures. And here's what the menu tells me. What I'm supposed to do is hold the camera sideways like this, hold it to my side, and then look into the camera like this, or if I'm using the kind of focusing magnifier, then I'm supposed to hold it to my eye like this and hold it to the side like this, looking in this direction, having the camera pointing at what I'm trying to photograph. Keep in mind that this image in the viewfinder is still mirrored. So if I'm turning the camera down like this, and if I'm trying to compose, it's all double and triple mirrored. So right now, if I'm pointing the camera up like this, well, I'm actually turning it down, and then if I want to get this mountain in my shot, now it's all crooked. What the hell am I even doing? Yeah, this picture was a pain in the ass to take. So vertical shooting with this camera is just kind of a nightmare. I'm not even looking in the direction of what I'm photographing. Like, I can't just look up at the scene and then look through my viewfinder. I'm looking in the wrong direction and then holding the camera out like this and then trying to wrangle the mirrored image to actually point at what I'm trying to photograph, which is an absolute nightmare. We're having a little guest on today's video shoot. Just a butterfly. Well, once again, let me try to kind of show you how to use this camera and what kind of buttons and dials exist on here. So first of all, to open up the viewfinder, you need to push up this little kind of dial right here, lever I guess. Push this up and the viewfinder will pop out. And so what you're going to see first of all is this kind of magnifying glass, which you can use to focus your shot. So basically what this is going to do, it's just going to give you a magnified view of what you're looking at. So it's kind of like punch in focus on a digital camera. If you're manual focusing on a digital camera, you're basically just getting a closer view of your image. That way it's going to be easier to see if your image is sharp. You can just push the magnifying glass down like this, and now you can see the entire frame you're going to be shooting. To change the shutter speed, you're going to turn this dial right here, you can see this arrow pointing at the shutter speeds. This is how you change the shutter speed. This camera does not have any sort of internal light meter, so you're gonna need to use a light meter or just the light meter app on your phone, which you can just download for free, or something like the TT Edison Light Meter 2, which I've made a full guide on how to use something like this if you're interested in that. The lens is going to be pretty much the same as something like the wide lens videomatic cameras, for example. Very standard lens. You have one ring to change your aperture, and then you have one to change your focus with a focus scale, depth of field scale, to focus your image. That's pretty much it. The shutter button is right here. You can either attach a flash if you want to, and if you want to remove the lens, you have to kind of push down this lever, and then you can remove the lens if you want to. This is a interchangeable lens camera. Then you just take a picture. I guess I'm just going to fire one off. Now you can see in our viewfinder right here, you can't actually see anything because the mirror is moved out of the way to take the picture, and to move the mirror back in a position where you're going to see the image through the viewfinder, you have to advance your film by turning this little wheel right here. Just turn it until you can see the image again, and then you get ready to shoot your next picture. Let's talk about another little annoyance, which I'm not sure if this is something that's specific to the Exa1 or if this is something that happens with more of or most of the waist level viewfinder cameras. So you know how when you look through the viewfinder, usually on cameras like, for example, the Canon A1 or my Cosina Highlight, the aperture stays all the way open at whatever f2.8 or whatever lens you're using, up until the point where you start to half press the shutter, where the aperture closes down, kind of more showing you the actual accurate exposure you're going to be getting, and then you press the shutter and take the picture. So basically on really all of the other SLR cameras I own, the aperture stays all the way open up until the point where I press the shutter. The reason for that is because with the aperture all the way open, there's more light getting through the lens, which makes it easier to compose your image and to focus your image. Now, as you can see right here with this Exa1, this is not the case. When I change the aperture on this lens, then the aperture changes right away. There's no sort of mechanism for the aperture blades to stay open until I press the shutter. And the issue with that is, for one, you can see right here, I'm trying to take a video of me taking a picture of this mountain, but as I close down the aperture, because I'm shooting ISO 200 film in bright daylight, I need to close down my aperture to f11, but you can see that the image in the viewfinder itself is getting a lot darker, so you, the viewer of this video, can't really see it anymore. So what I've been doing on this roll of film is I've actually been taking most of the pictures twice, because I want to film myself taking the picture through the viewfinder. So I take most of the pictures at f2.9, the brightest aperture I have on this lens, so you guys can see what I'm seeing. But because, of course, with ISO 200 film, that's way too bright of an aperture and most of the pictures turn out overexposed, I have to take the picture a second time without filming at the actual aperture value I need. Because usually at that point you guys wouldn't be able to see through the viewfinder. It just wouldn't be bright enough for any video camera to pick it up. But it's not just a problem for making videos, it's just a problem for using this camera in general. Because as I said, the reason why you want the aperture to be wide open for focusing and composing is because the image is going to be more visible for you. There's going to be more light getting through. With this viewfinder being so dark, it's really difficult oftentimes to actually see what I'm photographing, to compose my image and to focus my image, because I can't actually really see. So what you need to do is keep the aperture open yourself while you're focusing the image, and then once everything is in focus and composed the way you want, you have to close the aperture and then hit the shutter button right away. Hopefully without moving the camera too much, which is quite annoying, especially when taking close-ups where even small movements can throw off your focus a lot. Well, with that, I think this video is coming to an end. So I had a great time shooting this camera. I had a great time taking these pictures. And I think some of the pictures I took today, I mean, this occasion is so amazing. I think I'm going to get some great pictures. Let's hope this camera doesn't have any light leaks or anything like that. Let's hope the pictures actually turned out nice. But shooting this camera, I've had a great time. I'm not sure about shooting videos yet. So these videos I took through the viewfinder of the camera, I'm not 100% happy with them. I think I might want to try filming those with a macro lens. I have a Sony macro lens for my CV10. Maybe that works out better. I want to try using different polarizing filters. Maybe I can get rid of some more of those reflections to get a cleaner image. And just in terms of how I want to make videos like this, I don't think I've fully figured it out yet. But I will for sure make more videos like this. I have already ordered a second waist level viewfinder camera on eBay, which I'm very excited to receive in the mail and to try out in a future video. That's for sure going to be great as well. And it's for sure something that I want to experiment with some more and to just kind of try and figure out how to make videos like this look as good as they can, because you know, I like making these POV photography videos with my DJI Osmo Nano mounted on my head, walking around, taking pictures. And of course, with digital cameras, I can just show the screen and you can actually see what I'm seeing while I'm photographing. But if I'm trying to make a video like this on film, I can show you how I do the settings, how I can change the aperture and change the shutter speed. But by the time I put the camera to my face, of course, you can't see anything anymore. And I think that's a great opportunity for me to make these POV photography videos on film and also show you what I'm seeing by looking through a waist level viewfinder like this one. I think that's something that I'm for sure going to experiment with some more. So stay tuned, stay excited for future waist level viewfinder videos. For sure, this other camera that I already ordered is going to show up in the mail soon, and I'm very excited to try it out. And with that, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to have an outro screen up here with my film photography playlist and just another video that's similar to this one. If you enjoyed this video, you're going to enjoy that stuff as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.